All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode and the penultimate episode of this series of Doctor Who. I am Josh. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jack Phillips. How are you,
Hi there.
Jack?
I'm all good, thank you. I'm all good. That was a very formal and posh introduction. I think that's probably the kind of the poshest one we've done so far. But
We're
no,
nailing
I'm
it
good,
now.
thank you.
What, we're 12 episodes in, plus a bonus episode here and there.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's good. We're getting there.
Um,
Look at us, nearly being professional.
Nearly being professional. And we're on, like I said, the penultimate episode or the penultimate story, I should say, of this series. We're nearly in the end game. Not regarded as one of the best episodes of this series. Bradley Fuller, before we joined, outright said it's his least favorite of the series. I fucking loved it, JP. What were your thoughts?
It wasn't too bad actually. You know what? It's a middle of the road thing. I don't think it's the worst episode there's been. I don't think it's the best one either. But it's like all kind of episodes this season. I feel like it's got good individual points about it,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is so it's a middle of the road one for me. Not great, not bad, is what
See,
it is.
I think that's unfair. I think it's a genuinely good episode. It's a good character study. The characters in it are all very good. The plot, okay, there's not much of it, but there doesn't need to be much of it. I was watching it and I was like, oh shit, but it's nearly finished. Like it flew by for me.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. This one did go quickly actually, which was interesting.
Yeah, rapid.
But
Your favourite character, Mickey, returns. We've got Captain Jack getting a bit
Mickey.
more development. We've got that strange lady from Harry Potter, or not from Harry Potter, but acts like the Harry Potter lady back in it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, mate, I think it's a quality. We get the rift is explored, which comes back in future episodes.
Oh,
We get
yeah.
the big reveal of the series, kind of, but not really. Mate, it's a
Hmm.
huge episode. So, do you want to just dive in and we get started?
Yeah, let's dive in as we always do. Let's go chronological, and
Yep.
we'll go from there. So it opens up, of course, in a kind of a meeting room kind of thing, between I'm assuming was some kind of scientist and the head of the Savine. I've got to say straight away, we're opening with a comment, like a kind of a comment on a politician's promise.
Yeah,
I promise I'll
yeah.
look into it for you. It's just like you're not gonna though, are you? I couldn't tell if it was alien or true politician, but yeah, was this one written by Russell T Davies by any chance?
It was indeed, yeah. And it's very early evidence that Doctor Who has always been woke.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was woke. It was just such a kind of on the nose comment. It was just straight away, just like, "Oh, I promise."
But if that
Sliver,
happened
sliver, sliver.
today, it would be like, oh, look at Doctor Who, it's gone all political. No, it's always been political. This is the thing. It's just so happens that you agreed with these politics and you don't agree with the new ones that are happening. That's why you're throwing the
Yeah.
toys out of your pram. I have a question about this. Well, firstly, this opening scene is a
Hmm.
great reintroduction to the Slovene. It's
Yeah.
genuinely quite scary and suspenseful.
Agreed.
Secondly, where the hell is that man from? Like, I Googled him, I've looked his IMDb up, couldn't find him anywhere, but I recognize him so much. It's either he's a famous actor and he's in something that I've forgotten, or he just looks like every politician slash office worker, like every middle-aged British man ever. There's something so familiar about his face, but I cannot plant
No,
it.
I think you're on your own on that one. I didn't recognize him.
Really?
Not at all. Didn't recognize him or anything like that. I just no. I no idea.
He must look
I
like
mean,
someone in my personal life, I think, because I couldn't find anything on him.
well, the thing is, he could be uncredited, so it could be a famous actor that was just uncredited for his.
No, I found his credit and I went through his filmography and everything on IMDb, and I was like, I don't recognize him from that. Don't recognize him from that. I think he's in an episode of Torchwood, but I don't think he's like a big character in it. So, anyway, that's just my little tangent there. Sorry
There we
about
go,
that,
guys. In the comments or all the social medias, if you do recognize him or know where he's from that Josh may know, drop us, just drop us a message or a comment or something, and we'll see.
Yes,
We'll see if
please.
it's something that I bet you bumped into the shop. You bumped into him in the shop sometime.
I
He's
must have
probably
done,
from
but
around
I'm
our
not
way.
Welsh. He's Welsh, isn't he? Oh, hello, I'm
I
Welsh. I'm
mean, you
from
can put on an
Wales.
accent.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. Speaking of Welsh and how good my accent just was, you've got Welsh heritage, right?
I do. I do.
Do you speak any Welsh?
No. And none,
Oh,
none of
right,
my
okay.
family do either. None of my family do. The thing is it's one of those things that it's not really, it is taught in schools, but it's not really, it depends when you go, kind of
Right.
in Wales.
Yeah.
Now, where my family are along the south coast, it's not really something that's taught there. They'll speak English, but just with funny accents, and that's it. Yeah, no, it's a bit of a talking of strange noises though. Um, when she kills the scientist warrior person, the
Yeah.
guy that's worrying all the time, I swear down she makes a lot of velociraptor noise.
Yeah, I picked up on that. That's definitely been lifted from Jurassic Park. I'm
It's
sure
got
of
to have
it.
been, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
listened
of
to it a couple of times and I was like, I swear that's a velociraptor
it.
noise.
Yeah,
It's
I
just,
picked up on that as well. Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm glad
it was so strange.
yeah, I'm glad it was more like monster noises and they focus less on the whole gas and farting and stuff. That's quite downplayed in this
Yes,
episode, which I really like.
agreed. It happens once, I think, and that is literally the opening, like kind of the opening scene, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and it works as a plot point to get them into the toilet so they can have a separate conversation. But yeah, I think genuinely they're less silly in this. That woman, whatever her name is, Margaret or Vlon, or she is brilliant. Like this is not a
Yeah,
compliment in any means necessary, but she looks like a Slovene even when she's not a Slovene. Do you know what I mean? Like she's got that sort of like nasty, like like that scowl thing. I'm like,
the,
Jesus, you're
the
scary.
I was gonna say the Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That is it. You have that kind of that character that you just hate because they're such a good actor. I mean,
Yeah,
I never saw
exactly.
Game of Thrones, but there was another character. I think his name was Jeffrey or something in
Oh
there, the
yeah,
blonde
King
kid.
Jeffrey or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
again, that was a character that was hated so badly, but because the acting was so good, and
Yeah,
that's when you know you're a good actor. Is when you can, you can just receive all this hate from people just because of a character you played.
yeah,
And,
totally
and you
agree.
played it so well. No, no, fully agree with that one.
Yeah, no, I love her. I think she's
Um,
very good in the role and would love to see her in more things as well. She's genuinely very good.
yeah, maybe she could do like a remake on Matilda or like Harry Potter or something like that.
Oh yeah,
She could kind
cast.
of play that
Yeah,
like evil stepmom kind of nurse, that evil female authority figure. You know what I mean? Like a nurse
yeah,
or a
yeah.
mum or a stepmom or an auntie or some, just that real kind of, you know what I mean? Like that kind of kid show sort of, I don't know. Yeah, it's not like something that's like adult or anything like that, but kind of the teacher in charge or something like that. That's
Yes, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'm just
totally.
describing Dolores Umbridge there, but yeah.
Yeah.
um, yeah, no. So moving on, of course, we then go to Mickey stepping off in Cardiff.
Love that Mickey's back.
I was about to moan. Again, I have to kind of when I'm writing notes, I just write my first thoughts down and then kind of update them as the series goes along. And I was about to moan so hard on why on earth a lad from London is ended up in Cardiff. Why he's getting off a train in Cardiff, but of course you find out further down the line that it's actually because that he's been kind of invited there by Rose and everything like that. But it just really hurts me that just this London kid who's probably never been out of London in his life just turned up in Cardiff, and it was like,
Yeah, yeah,
ah,
yeah.
but no,
Oh, so
that
you
was that
thought it
was
was going to be like he just bumped into them?
uh, genuinely right because this is the part of my note was again with the convenient travel. They always just seem to land in the wrong place at the right time, and it's just like it just wouldn't have surprised me if he just turned up in Cardiff and just went, "Oh yeah, I heard Cardiff's a nice place. Decided to go there for a week."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I've stumbled across the
Genuinely.
TARDIS. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. That was the kind of writing I was getting, but no, he didn't. They wrote it out, which I was really happy with. Poor Mickey though.
Oh, mate, I've got a note here that just says, "How upset would you be if your girlfriend went traveling with two other men?"
I mean, it's not even that. I just, it's just a handshake. They do like a little handshake thing as well, and I just like poor Mickey just has no idea what's going on. You always get the inside joke as well. I feel like they always throughout this episode just took the piss out of Mickey.
Yeah, it's
Like kind of
quite
with the
a.
handshake. And then, like, kind of, he has that conversation with Rose, doesn't he? Where he's like, he's outside the TARDIS, and you think, oh, yeah, that's really upset. And then, like, he just reveals that he's seeing someone else, and Rose just gives him an absolute pasting for it. And I'm like,
Yeah,
damn, that's really mean, that one.
he
And
does
the
get
only thing is,
brutalized. Yeah, go
I
on.
was gonna say, the only thing I don't like is that towards the end, he just like flips his lid, which I get, you're upset, but the way he went about it, I guess maybe that's to do with his character, but I feel like he went a little bit over the top there. And I don't,
Oh, I sort of, I can totally get it. Like, bearing in mind, he's only like 20 odd as well, maybe like 21, 22. So he's young, he's hot headed. His girlfriend's just fucked off with two boys to go traveling, has called them all the way to Cardiff just for a passport. And then the bit that I loved is when like that thunder starts happening. And he's like, oh, what was it? And he looks around and Rose is just legging it, just without like
yeah,
even a second thought from
yeah.
Mickey.
But
I would totally get why he's so upset.
well, I did, but I didn't because at the end of the day, right? So I when I watched that, I didn't see that she was running away from danger.
No, she was
I
running
saw
towards it, right?
towards the danger. Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Mickey knows exactly what's up with Rose, right? He knows that she's with some space wizard thing that he doesn't fully understand, but he knows that they do magical things and they always try and save the universe and everything like that. So surely, if Mickey's under, Mickey knows that. So surely, if you're sitting there and you see her running away from you, you'd go, that's because she's going to try and save the world.
Oh, I think you'd still be pissed off though. Like it only takes
I
10
know.
seconds to say,
Right.
wait here, I'm going to save the world, or
I don't
come
know
with
though.
me,
I mean,
I'm
like,
going to save the world.
imagine you're a firefighter or you're a policeman or something like that, and you sit down for, kind of some kind of dinner with your ex-girlfriend or something like that, and then you just hear a robbery or a fire around the corner. You're not going to sit there and explain to them and go, look, I'm really sorry. I'm lovely catching up with you, by the way, but I've got to go. You're gone.
I guess so, but you'd still be pissed off in that situation, like regardless of
No,
whether she
you
did the right thing. Or,
wouldn't.
of
Because if
course you
you're
fucking
annoyed,
would. Oh
if
no
you're annoyed that
way, man.
like if you're annoyed that someone is leaving you to go save someone else, quite literally save lives, you gotta look at yourself and go, I'm a cunt.
No, I'm sorry. If they don't excuse themselves properly, I'm allowed to be annoyed.
No, no, not at all,
Yes,
not at all. There is a
yes.
certain time and place for it. I'm not saying you just leave every meal. You just leg it down the road. You're like, oh, what's that job? That's actually a standard exit in in Europe. But no, I'm not saying you do that. But like when there's a certain and there's a good reason for it as well.
I
You know what I
don't
mean?
know. I don't know. I would be. I agree. I'm hashtag Team Mickey here.
No, no.
Also, don't forget the last time we saw him, he'd been accused of murdering Rose. Like he's still got that on
Uh-huh.
his conscience, probably.
Well, that's
Can't
true.
get a
No, that is true.
girlfriend.
And
Can't fit into
you know, I'm,
social conformity. All that
I'm
sort of stuff.
no, no, no. I get that, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like this episode he gets a slapping, but it's just the end part just doesn't. I don't know. It don't sit well with me.
Interesting. I agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, yeah. There
Yeah,
we go.
I
There we
think he's
go.
totally just. I
But yeah,
feel a lot of sympathy for him.
yeah. No, I feel sympathy for him for sure. It's Oh, I said the background on the TARDIS skin. We get a little bit of an insight on the skin around the TARDIS.
Oh yeah, the skin. Fucking hell, you're such a Fortniter.
Fortnite. What do you mean skin? Skin is skin.
No, the chameleon circuit. Yeah, the chameleon
Yeah,
circuit.
the chameleon circuit. Very interesting. It just explains why the TARDIS is a 1960s or 70s police box.
Yeah, 60s police box, I think. Yeah,
60s
makes
police
sense.
box, yeah.
I think that's like old law coming in as well. That's not something that he made up. That has always been
Hmm.
the excuse for having it. They didn't really touch on it, but Mickey goes like, yeah, but it's still a police box in the middle of the street. Like, of course people are going to
Hmm.
notice it. And the doctor's just like, oh, well, you just walk past it, blah, blah, blah. Fine.
Hmm.
It's later explained in another series that the chameleon circuit, one, it like disguises it, it changes what it looks like, but
Hmm.
also it has a subconscious thing where it purposely makes it not stand out. Like no matter what it's disguised as, it will never stand out.
Ah,
So it's not
okay.
invisible, but it's like it's always there, but you don't notice it's there. So it's like the example I thought of as it was happening was there's a chair in the TARDIS console room, and I always forget that that chair is there, but it's in every single shot. I'm like, okay, so that's what the chameleon circuit does. It just puts it at the back so you can't focus on it, you can't have your attention on it.
Yeah, no, agreed. I quite like it. I mean, he says about, kind of before it got broke, it would have appeared as a statue if you were in the Roman times or something like that. And I quite like it. But I mean, looking from what I'm looking at, because I've not had that experience of the whole, kind of subconscious thing. Although it was proven that the TARDIS is a kind of living thing towards the end of the
Oh,
episode,
we'll
which
get to that.
we'll touch to that one as well. But I mean, the funny thing is the doctor just says, "Oh, people will just walk past it and leave it alone." I'll tell you what, right? If that was to land in the middle of Southend High Street nowadays, right, that thing would be gone or burnt out, or there'd be some I don't know what happening in there. It
Yes,
just
exactly. Well, it does get graffitied on in one of the earlier episodes, right? In
oh.
Aliens in
It
London.
does. It does. It does. And again, we will get to that one
We will
when we get there.
absolutely get to that. Yeah.
We will get there.
All right. So Captain Jack, the Doctor, Rose, and even Mickey. I love the bit where they're just fucking about, having the banter. They're in that pier side cafe, they're just telling stories and laughing. Such good camaraderie, right? And it's all.
I thought,
Go on.
yeah, I thought we were doing this kind of chronologically.
That's the next bit, isn't it?
No, I thought they went to the I thought they go to the little conference thing with the politicians. They go for the conference thing where she's showing off the plans and everything like that, and the journalist.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Because there was a big
You're
point
right.
in there that I did just completely got overlooked, and I still don't know why. Right. So
Go
of
on.
course they're in this thing, and she's explaining that they're building this big old nuclear power plant in Cardiff, and and everything like that. And I mean, just the Welsh accents alone just remind me of Gavin and Stacey. Just every time I hear a Welsh accent, I'm like, oh, it's Gavin. I've got family that are Welsh, and you just think of Gavin and Stacey instead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I mean, first of all, just where the journalist is just going, but what about these people that died? And she's just like, well, they're French. I was
Oh,
like, wow,
that's
okay.
brilliant. Yeah, I've got a
was
note.
like-
They slipped on a patch. They
Yeah.
slept on an icy patch. They were decapitated. It was a very icy patch.
Very icy
Like,
patch.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I
And
love
then, right, she literally admits to killing a man, and she's still in the office. She's like, yeah, but you run over him. It's like,
that.
oh, okay. She
Yeah.
killed a man, admitted it, and she's still in the office. I mean,
But mate,
uh,
like we're laughing. President Trump today has been charged with more criminal offences and is still running for president of
but
the
he
United
didn't kill a
States.
man, though. I mean, all right,
Oh,
he
mate,
fiddled,
as
or
if it
allegedly
would
fiddled.
make a difference.
I don't know. Murder's kind of the one of the top things you can do, really, isn't it? I
Mate, he's
mean, yeah,
being
I can.
accused of organising a riot on the White House.
Yeah, but that's just an angry gathering of people, literally
No,
murdering.
no, no, no. I think this at the time was quite controversial. And now it's become our president. Like, this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah,
Our prime minister won't admit Boris Johnson, our former prime minister, has not admitted how many fucking kids he's got.
I was just about to ask the question: how many politicians, current serving politicians, we've got? Do you reckon has killed someone?
Well, exactly. Fucking how many of them are bloody Slovene? That's what we should be asking ourselves.
I mean, look, there is a pretty big kind of theory that goes around on the internet that they're all a bunch of lizard people, which I wonder if it came from this episode, really. But
No, but it's
yeah,
not that far fetched at all. But yeah, of course, she's killed someone and she's still in power.
yeah, no, it's a shame. It just really made me laugh again. And the commentary on the politicians, the politicians behaving badly. She was just like, "Yeah, but you run him over," and I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "Oh dear." Oh dear, but no, it's yeah. So it was an interesting one, and of course you get that horrible bit of tension where she's kind of not interested, and then suddenly she's like, "Oh, I'm interested now," and then she does that thing where she's like, "Oh, all the girls together now to the toilet," which is a girl
Yeah,
thing, by the way. I don't know why they do it, just company or something like that. You don't, as a guy, you don't really go to the toilet together. You just go off one at a time and come back. The girls are just
yeah,
like, "Yeah, we're going
exactly.
for a group trip to the toilet," and that's it.
I know. I don't get it at all. It's so they can all do their makeup and have pillow fights, presumably.
That's true. That's because that's what you're doing, really. But yeah, but the unanswered question I still can't work out is why, because of course she goes into the toilet and then she kind of goes into her normal form and everything like that, and she's about to kill the journalist,
Yeah,
and then she doesn't. She then just suddenly turns sad.
yeah.
Why?
Because the journalist starts talking about her boyfriend and she's having a baby and basically family. And the last time we saw Margaret, her family was being blown up.
Yeah, but she killed a scientist like 10 minutes ago in the episode.
Yeah, but the
No mercy
scientist
there. That
wasn't
man probably
mentioning
had a
his
family.
family.
Yeah, but
He
he
didn't
probably had a
mention
family,
it
though.
though. He didn't mention it though. And the
Mm.
doctor does go on, I think, when they're sat at the table as well. He says something like, every now and then, just to make yourself feel better, you'll let someone live. And that's how you live with
He
yourself.
does because she says to me, she says to him when they're eating dinner, she goes, "Oh well, the other day I left the journalist alone and everything like that." But it doesn't make sense why she just, she's there just to eat people. It doesn't make sense why she wouldn't eat the journalist.
No, I can
I
see
didn't
it. I can
understand it.
see it. Okay, it's just that
Yeah,
whole family relation. She's just lost her entire family. Now it's just a brief lapse in judgment that lets her justify what she's doing to herself. Yeah, I get that. I totally get
yeah, I
that.
don't know. The thing I do love about the Sabina, and I can't remember if I mentioned this last time that we saw them, but I do love the sideways eye, like kind of the sideways
Yes, you did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
eyelids with the lizard. It's such a cool. It's just so cool. It's great character design. I love it. It's
It
just
is a good
and
good costume to be fair, isn't it?
yeah, and like when she's there and she's looking sad, and then you just see the eyes just like they blink and it just goes sideways. It's so cool. I love it. I
It
love it.
is. It is pretty cool. Just quickly, I
Yeah.
had a dream the other night. It's literally just come back to me. It's not in my notes or anything. I had a dream the other
Oh,
night that I was being chased by a Slovene in a bikini.
oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, really fucking trippy.
It's just going to be a smash or pass question. Slovene in a bikini, smash or pass.
I'll give it a go. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, look, clap at Ian cheeks, be like Captain Jack. It's in the name, that's it. You just
What do you
gotta
reckon the
get on with it.
children would look like?
Oh God,
Actually, that's
probably baby.
answered. There's a spin off called The Sarah Jane Adventures, and there's a baby Slovene in it.
Oh no. Oh no.
Right. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a
Um,
good scene. I think that's a good scene
yeah,
in the bathroom.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was just
Again,
weird.
I
It was a
think the
bit weird.
Slovenes are genuinely quite scary. Well, I think the Slovene is genuinely quite scary in this episode.
Yeah, no, agreed, agreed. It's a lot scary when there's, that's the thing as well. I think it's a lot scarier when there's just one.
Agreed.
You know that
Totally agreed with you, mate.
they're not going to kill off just that one. Whereas when there's loads of them, you almost feel like the writers could just go, that one dies, now that one dies, and now they all die. Whereas when there's one, they're not just going to kill off the one straight away.
No,
Yeah, and
exactly.
I quite like that. I quite like that.
I'm trying to think
It's
of some
good.
examples of
Dalek.
that. Yeah, but you haven't seen a multi-Dalek episode yet.
Well, I have towards the end on the next week's one. So they obviously
No, because
done
the
that.
first one that comes to mind is Alien, but then Alien 2 is arguably a better film.
Yeah, I prefer Alien 2, but then I think that's probably because just Ripley just becomes, I don't know, she just
A
becomes
badass
even
out of
better.
nowhere. Yeah,
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 she just,
true.
well, she, like at the end of the first film, she's like a badass, and you're like, wow, this is cool. And then somehow they managed to get her even more badasser, and it's just
Yeah,
like, they put it this way, right? They put her in a kind of a car thing with a bunch of hardcore Marines who were supposed to be the like even harder than she is, and she was
yeah,
still the hardest person in that
yeah,
car.
yeah,
And you're just
yeah.
like, damn, that's a cool way to be. But anyway, that's by the by. Back to breakfast or lunch or whatever you know kind of you would whatever
Oh
they
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah,
eating
yeah.
here. I love when writers do this, right? Where they just cut in to just the end of the punchline of a joke, and then the characters laugh.
Yeah, I like it when it's done well.
I thought that was done well.
No, I agree with you, but sometimes it's done pretty shit. Like I just watched Flash again last night, and
Yeah.
it's that whole sort of they you try if you try too hard to be like your characters in something have to feel like they exist when you're not looking at them, and that's like the easiest way of doing it is to cut in on them doing something else so that you're
Hmm.
reminded that they do
Hmm.
have a life. But sometimes it can be done so cheesy and so in your face and unbelievable. So yeah, it's a testament to the writer, but also the actors that this works because Jack is talking
Yeah.
absolute nonsense about being naked and chased by aliens, and it doesn't make any sense, and yet you believe it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's it, and I just really like that. You've hit it spot on there in the fact that it just does build that bit of character development. You're almost there to believe that these characters have a life outside of the snapshot that what we're seeing. You know,
Exactly.
you almost feel like you've just moved in and you're just looking there and then. It's not just action and then go. It's you're moving in on real lives, and that's
Exactly.
it. And that's what I really like.
Yeah, and it happens quite a lot this episode. You've obviously got Jack's story. Nikki talks
Hmm.
about Trisha Delaney and he's been dating elsewhere. Rose is saying,
Yep.
"Oh, we did this. We walked under these 50-foot waves, and this happened, that happened." Like, I think this is it is quite a boring episode in terms of things actually happening, but for developing the characters, it's probably one of the most
Yeah.
important episodes in this series. To be fair, like
No,
I think
fully.
you like I genuinely believe in Team TARDIS at this point. Jack, Rose, and the Doctor, they are now. Bearing in mind, we've only had Jack for one episode, and he was
Hmm.
technically, I guess, kind of the antagonist. He certainly wasn't part of the team. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but now like again, I've seen the history of this show as well, but I believe they've been traveling for months and months and years with each other. Do you know what I mean? And it's only been not even an
Yeah.
episode.
And that was proven as well, because when a bit further down the line, when Rose is talking about, talking about the adventures and that to Mickey, she mentions some kind of ice covered planet or something that froze. It was
Yeah,
and she was like 100 foot waves and everything. Now we haven't seen that, of course.
exactly. Yeah,
And again,
exactly.
it's a brilliant bit of writing to show that these characters have actually done other things apart from what we've seen, which helps us believe that it can it's a good way to explain between episodes why characters have suddenly got a lot closer together.
Yeah, no, I think it totally works.
Which, yeah,
Totally works.
yeah,
And
no,
it's
it's
done excellently in this episode. So yeah, I absolutely love that scene of them all getting lunch. The only thing that pisses me off about it is the Doctor gets up, snatches that old Welshman's
oh, don't.
newspaper, and he says
Yeah.
nothing. This Welshman just lets it
Oh,
happen.
don't. Maybe that was just the thing. Like back in 2005, people in Cardiff were really, really, really nice people, and they were just like, oh yeah, that's it. I mean,
Aren't the
honestly, if
Welsh
you'd have done,
supposed to be typically Larry?
I don't know. I mean, put it this way: if you'd have done that in London, you'd have ended up with like a kind of a 3-inch stab, wound through your chest or something.
Oh, if that had have
Um,
happened in London, it would have been a regeneration episode.
yeah. The
There's
Doctor
no
regenerated
two.
early. What happened? Oh
Yeah,
no,
exactly. They're in the Doctor Who movie. The
this a movie.
seventh. Yeah. There's a movie back in the day. The seventh. So it starts off with the seventh Doctor, and then it's the eighth Doctor's movie. But the way he
Okay.
regenerates is the seventh Doctor. Literally, this is all in the space of like 30 seconds. So movie opens. Seventh Doctor's in the TARDIS, lands it in New York, opens the door, gets shot down by a New York gang, and then that's it. Regenerates into the next Doctor, and it's never heard of again. Like that's not even a spoof. It genuinely happens.
Oh my god! So like the
Yeah.
seventh Doctor was shot by a gang member.
Yeah, just because he opened the door in the wrong neighborhood. You've got to YouTube it once we finish this. Just YouTube it. It's the
Oh my
most
goodness!
ridiculous thing in the world.
I've got to watch that. That's going on the watch thing tonight. That's it. That's incredible.
they then go to Margaret's office, and
Hmm.
it's a bit cartoony. Hilarity ensues. I think it's quite funny. I think it works.
Well, I was going to say there's a bit I again that I quite like that always just seems to be like a normal trope kind of thing, and you see it coming a mile off, but they all pile into the main hall, like kind of the main hallway bit, and like Jack's like, Captain Jack's like, right, we're going to do this. You go here, you go there, you go this,
Yeah,
and then the Doctor just turns around and he's just like, I'm the one in charge. He's like, oh, sorry, what's the plan? Great plan, like he said. I just, you see it coming a mile off, but I just love it. It's just such a,
it is good. Yeah.
but it is. I
Go
was
on.
gonna say it's a thing that we saw what the Doctor did last, well, not last episode, technically the episode before that, in the fact that he trusts other people's judgment. He wants to listen to what
Yeah,
other people
yeah,
have said, rather than just going, no, 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 I'm doing the plan. Let's do this instead. He knows that Captain Jack is tried and tested in these tactics and everything like that. So
exactly.
why wouldn't you, being part of being a leader is delegation and listening. So
Yeah,
why wouldn't you listen to say? And I really like that about the Doctor. I think it is quite a clever thing to be doing.
yeah, it's a good little bit. To be fair, I also think it probably wasn't a cliche back then as well. Like the one that springs to
True.
mind is like in the Avengers, where I think like Captain America orders like a policeman around. Then he's like, "Why should we
That's
trust
right.
you?" He knocks out a couple of those Chitauri or whatever it is, and then the officer just repeats the orders exactly as Cap said it. And so like I do think
Yeah.
it's become a cliche, but this was fucking hell, like I don't know, 7 years before that.
Yeah, Avengers was 20. Oh, that's a good question. Actually, when was it?
2012, I
2012,
think.
maybe?
Yeah, 2012, I want to say. This was
Yeah.
2005. So, yeah, 7 years before that.
Hmm.
There you
Yeah,
go.
no, I liked it. I liked it. And the other one I liked as well is just, the civil servant that is there just to be kind of a meat shield, really.
Yeah,
And you just
yes.
hear you just hear the cup like drop. And then he just comes out and he's just like, she's not in, she's just up to her. He's putting every excuse under the book. And the doctor's just like, she's climbing out the window, isn't she?
Yeah,
And he's like,
but then I love that he fucks off for a while. The doctor starts his chase, and then out of nowhere, he just comes back as they're on the balcony and starts having a tussle with the doctor. I'm like, I haven't seen it for a while. It's like, is the doctor going to throw him off this balcony?
yeah,
Like proper kid. I was like, is the doctor going to murder this guy?
there can only be one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so then they
Yeah,
do the little teleport thing and they're running
yeah.
around. I had noticed this before, but when Mickey catches up to them all, he checks his pulse and he looks at his watch like he's taking his heart rate monitor. I was like, that's just a funny little bit. Like Mickey is
Yeah.
brilliant in this episode, by the way. Like I know we
Oh
touched
man.
on him earlier. He's genuinely very good at this.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think he's the first one to kind of fall over something because all of them, apart from I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Doctor, falls over something in the way, and he just like falls through like a cleaning bin or
He
something like
just
that,
gets
and you just see him
taken out
coming out.
by.
I'm just like, but it does happen. I mean, you look at it and you think, oh, there's no way that would happen, but it does. You kind of you're running as fast as you possibly can,
Yeah,
and all you're
exactly.
looking at is in front of you, and that's it. But yeah, no, that did make me chuckle. That was quite funny. Um, but yeah, no, it's quite interesting that the Doctor Screwdriver kind of, I don't know, counteracts the teleport, maybe.
Well, yeah, I thought that. And then I was reading up the notes. It's the exact same thing that he does to Cassandra back in episode 2.
Back
So
in episode
that
two.
is just
Yeah,
a
yeah,
thing that the screwdriver can do. And Rose says, yeah, he's good with teleports. So fair enough.
yeah,
Yeah, they've established that. I'm all for it.
yeah. No, interesting. It's an interesting thing. Um, I think that she gives up. Blonde gives up her plan pretty easy. I think
Yeah, but
because they
that's
then
because
go,
I thought the same thing, but then she's double bluffing.
no, she's double bluffing. Yeah, that's it. But that has surely got to imply that she knew that the Doctor was going to turn up.
No, so I think she explains later on in the episode. She was like, my plan was going to work. However, my contingency was if anybody does come and work this plan out, they will have the technology that all I need to do is get them to strap it into there. So that's why she
You're
starts
right
boasting about
because
how cool it
then
is. So
yes, no, you're right because then she says about I hit the jackpot or something like that.
yeah, exactly. So I think actually that's fine. Like she's letting it off. She's giving away her plan because she knows she's got that backup as soon as the doctor shows up.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, so it was kind of a plan B, but plan B became plan A because of the Doctor and the TARDIS turned up. Okay, yeah,
Exactly.
no, that
Yeah,
makes sense. That
exactly.
makes sense. I did put a thing though. They're just making up words now, surely. When they're like, when
Yeah.
Captain Jackson's like, it's this, and I'm sitting there, and I was gonna try and write it down, and I took a minute, and I was like, I've got no idea how I'm gonna spell that. I've got no idea how I'm gonna try and remember how to pronounce that. So I was just like, look, I'm gonna leave that well alone. You know, the Slovene was hard enough as it was, and that was just a lot shorter of a word. So I was like, look, a fair
Go
play.
on,
That's
have a go at saying the planet name.
it was Rexacorium or something, wasn't it? From
Oh, you're
memory.
so close. Go on, go on, go on.
Go on. I don't Rexacorium something. You know what the worst thing is? I can see Rose and the Doctor walking out the door and
Yeah,
she's trying to say it.
exactly.
I just can't remember what Rexacorium. Cathensis
Raxacora
something?
Cephalopatorius.
Cathalopatoris, that's it, yeah.
I hate that
I
I
know there
know
was a
that.
yeah, no, but that's it. I was just like, wow, that's that's incredible. But I can see the scene now where the Doctor goes first through the door and then Rose goes after, and then
Yeah,
she gets
yeah.
it, and they're just like really happy about it, and I'm like, I feel that. I feel that. I do
Yeah.
feel that. But yeah, interesting contingency plan anyway.
Yeah, so that
Um,
scene obviously gives way to what the power station is called. I have a note here that
yeah,
says, did you translate it, thinking with your Welsh heritage
that
you
I
might be
knew
able to
Welsh.
speak some?
No, but lucky for me, the Doctor knew how to anyway, because the Doctor speaks Welsh. Because why
Exactly.
wouldn't he? I guess. It was at that point on the train that I went, oh my god, and it did literally. I was just like, uh, because I wrote in my notes back in fact, I think it
Aliens of
was
London and
the
World War Three. Yeah,
it was Aliens of London because
I
Bad
know
Wolf is graffitied on
exactly.
the side.
Do you know what? As well, I asked you if you'd got the Easter egg in that episode, and for those of
Yeah.
you that listened, you turn around and you go, "Oh, was it Bad Wolf?" Because that was written on the TARDIS, and I was like, "Oh fuck, am I going to have to admit this now?" So I went quiet, and then you went, "Or is it that there are two doctors?" And then you started talking about that, and I was like, "Whew,
Oh, of
got
course, because that
away
was the
with
episode where there
that."
was two things. Yeah, but no, as soon as he went, oh, that translates to Bad Wolf, and I was like, oh my god.
Should we go through and should we talk? Should we very quickly take a detour and go through and let you know where
Yeah,
all
go
of
on.
them were? Episode one, don't think it shows up. Episode two, I think one of them, like one of their ships, is Bad Wolf or something like that. Unquiet Dead, you have that girl when she's predicting the future. She says, "Oh, like, oh, and you're afraid of the big bad wolf," or something like that. Aliens of London and World
Hmm.
War Three, it's obviously written on the TARDIS. Dalek,
Yep,
it's Henry Van Statten's helicopter is called Bad Wolf
Bad Wolf
5164,
one.
something like
Yeah,
that. The Long Game, when the face of Bo appears on the news channel is called Bad Wolf.
yeah.
Father's Day,
It's scrawled on a poster.
yes, yes, you're
I've just
absolutely right.
googled it now. Yeah, no, it's scrawled on a poster
It's on a
on an 80s
poster.
club poster, and
Yeah,
then on the Doctor dances, the missile about to land
the one that
has
Jack's riding.
Schlechter Wolf, which is of course Bad Wolf in German, and of course then I'm not looking any further than Boomtown because there looks to be more scrolling things, but then
There
of course
is,
Boomtown it's called yeah Bad Wolf
and
in Welsh.
I can reveal that the next episode is titled Bad Wolf. So
Hmm.
well done on not
I
spoiling
saw.
that for yourself. I think I mentioned
Yep.
back in one of the earlier episodes, when they released the episodes like titles before it aired, it was called something else. I've totally forgotten now. And
Interesting.
they changed
Yeah,
it like the day it aired to be Bad Wolf so that nobody could see it coming. But
I
yeah,
like
there
that.
you go,
I like
mate.
that.
So I'll give you half a point because you mentioned it,
Half a
but then
point.
you breezed briefly
Yeah,
over
I
it.
breezed over it. No, I like that because I learned something interesting about kind of keeping because again, it's always especially nowadays, I mean, 2005, the internet's starting to come about and everything, but especially nowadays, it's a difficult thing to try and keep everything under wraps and try and
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
that
exactly.
surprise and everything. I mean, it's that's what we do. The best way to avoid spoilers is to just get yourself down on the first day to the cinema and just go
Exactly.
watch it
Yeah,
then and
yeah.
just go, that's it, because that's the only way you can do it. But an interesting thing I learned the other day was about Empire Strikes Back
Go on.
because of course Empire Strikes Back was what I suppose would be the original spoiler kind of thing.
Oh yeah, with
With
the your father thing. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, that's it. Well, apparently that when they shot that scene, David Prowse was told to say Obi-Wan killed your father,
Oh no way, and they dubbed it in after.
and they dubbed it in with Earl Jones to say I am your father. So of course that kept everything, like all the cinema crew that were there, the two actors, everything like that,
Genius,
were under the
genius.
impression that Obi-Wan killed his father. Like, and it's just I love that. I mean, that was back in what? When did they film that? The 80s, maybe, something
89,
like
I think. 79 even. Was it
that.
77,
79,
79, and then 81, I think, are the Star Wars
something
years,
like
right?
that. Yeah. So
Oh no,
so
80. So
again,
yeah, 77, 80, and
yeah.
83.
So again, I just I love that. That is good. But yeah, little bit of a side note there of keeping things under wraps and changing things last minute. But yeah, no. So as I said. As soon as he said, "Oh, bad wolf," I was like, "Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that." Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
so
bad wolf.
good scene, bad wolf reveal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got a note here that says attempted murder very funny. I just don't know what that
Well,
relates to.
this is the thing, right? So we then go on to kind of the conversation between Blonde, the Doctor, Captain Jack. I don't think Rose and Mickey are there. I think they've left at this point. And it's the kind of thing where she reveals that she's got a death sentence on her home planet, and the family have got a death sentence and everything like that. And she's like, oh, yeah, she's trying to convince him to keep her alive, keep her in the
Yeah,
TARDIS. Now, I don't know. It's a very, very interesting scene, and it is a bit of a boring scene compared to, like, but I do feel like it's a very important scene on this one because the Doctor stands his ground up until the last point. Because she says to him, "Oh, you're an executioner, because
yes,
you're
yeah, yeah,
taking
yeah.
me back to the planet, right?" Now, the way I see it is, he's not an executioner. He's just a taxi. He's a messenger. It's not his fault that, kind of he's not carrying out the sentence of death. He's not the one that caused the, kind of made the kind of the sentence or anything like that. He's the taxi. He's just a messenger. You don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, I get that. But if someone got into your car and was like, right, I'm scheduled to be executed, you could either take me to it or you
Hmm.
could take me literally anywhere else.
Hmm.
Does that burden then fall on you?
No, especially if that person that got in your car had murdered several hundred people and tried to
Yeah,
blow up
yeah.
Earth, and you kind of the sympathy's kind of lost a little bit. I kind of get someone that maybe is like, look, I'm a family man, never committed a crime in my life, I was chased out of my own country, everything like that. But it's kind of when you get to that point of where you're like, right, so we just killed like hundreds of people and we tried to blow up planet Earth for profit. Please don't take me back. I'm going to be killed. I'm like, hmm.
But also,
Do,
the
do,
doctor has done his job in saving the day. So
that's true.
okay, here you go. If um if you've uh if you've just shot someone, no,
Hmm.
this doesn't really this metaphor doesn't work. I was going to say if you shoot someone and you get shot in return and you go to the
Yeah,
hospital, is it the doctor's
yeah.
job to then turn you over to the police? I think it actually is, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some kind of inquiry, like line of inquiry or something like that. So
Yeah,
that's why a lot of stab victims don't, well, not stab, without getting too much into it. Like that's why a lot of kind of gang stabbings and everything aren't actually reported,
yeah, because they
because
know.
if you get stabbed, you stitch up yourself or you glue up yourself. Because if you
Yeah,
go to the
yeah.
hospital and there's a suspicious stab wound, the doctors have an automatic duty to call the police if it's something
Yeah, yeah,
suspicious,
you're
and
right.
that goes
Well, there you go.
that
That's
goes
the
right
answer
across.
then.
Yeah, and but I don't know. I feel like it was a kind of, it just they were trying to make a kind of a bit more of a story than there really should have been. The Doctor's a logical man, and I just put, is the Doctor a Jedi? Because, well, no. Everybody knows that the Jedi's compassion was their undoing. That was it. They
Yeah,
trusted too
yeah.
much, and I'm like, and I was sitting there and I was like, I feel like I'm watching Revenge of the Sith again. Instead of about learning of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, I'm learning about dinner, and I'm like, I'm just like,
No,
this is the wrong 2005. Because
yeah.
yeah,
I
no, quite
mean,
sure. I was gonna say, Revenge of the Sith came out 2004, I think, and then I saw it in 2005. I don't know, but
no,
yeah,
I
no,
think it's a
I don't know.
2005 release.
It might have been.
I think it was. I think it was 99, 2002. Oh, I'm gonna have to Google that now. It's gonna piss me right off.
I'm just quickly googling now. 2005. God, there you
Yeah,
go. There's my
same year.
Star
Yeah,
Wars
yeah.
knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting, interesting.
So Russell did this episode to be a character study on what happens when the Doctor leaves, because
Hmm.
they mention it flat out in the episode. They're like, you normally just wander off, but it's true. Like the Doctor doesn't stay around. The Doctor doesn't, or we haven't really seen the Doctor punish any victims, or do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I think it's a really fascinating episode, honestly.
No, it is. It is because it's like the kind of again, a very political thing. I mean, 2005 at the time, the Iraq War had kind of finished and everything like that. We were in kind of post 9/11. Not that you and I remember much of this because we were
No,
like
not at all.
six.
No.
But like, it kind of, you look back at everything like that, and it is a comment on, on America's involvement in the Middle East, in the fact that they go over there, blow everything up, and then just leave.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
it's
yeah. Good
like
point.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's great. You kind of you hear the soaring eagle, and do 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 do, and then it's just like, well, then what that's it. You just kind of and you're correct. Well, what you're saying about the Doctor. The Doctor's not around for the kind of the fallout that happens after.
Yeah, the cleanup. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He kind of he goes there, he saves the day. Yeah, well done to him, fair play. And then he's on to the next convenient bit of danger and everything like that. And it's just, yeah, no, it is an interesting comment about the kind of the consequence of your actions, however heroic and noble they are, I guess, So, yeah, interesting. Almost as interesting between the conversation between Rose and Mickey, while the conversation between Blonde and the Doctor's going on.
Yeah, I love both of these conversations. I think this is where this episode, again, it is technically boring, but I was just fascinated by both of the conversations going on. My favorite bit out of all of them is when Mickey goes, "Oh, I'm dating Trisha the lady," and Rose turns around and goes, "She's a bit big."
A bit big. You know what? I put exactly that on my notes. I just put, she's a bit big. Ouch.
So that's clearly been in my subconscious for the past fucking 17 years. Do you know what I mean?
And then poor Mickey's on the back foot, and he's just like scrambling around, clutching at straws, and he's like, "Oh, she's lost weight, she's lost weight." And I'm like, "Poor Mickey." The man has to justify it. So he's like, his ex-girlfriend that's disappeared. The man's first reaction is to not go, "Well, no, she's all right." He's to just go, "Oh, she's lost weight, she's lost weight." Like the poor man. Like, I'm sorry, and poor Trisha, wherever this bird is.
Yeah, poor Trisha.
Her ears are burning all in London again. She's all in London, and her ears are not proper burning. I mean, I had to listen to this conversation while I was cleaning up the dinner I had on the train because between the conversation between the Doctor and Blonde, they then talk about, oh, she's going to run off and everything, and Jack just conveniently pulls out these handcuffs.
Yeah.
Don't want to know about them. But then she just turns around and looks directly at him and just goes, "Dinner in bondage. I can't wait." And I just, at that point, everything left me. And then I was just like, I had to apologize to the lady opposite me. And I was just like, it was a disaster. And then, of course, I've got it going on in the background. So, I mean, whoa,
Yeah.
That goes back to that goes back to your Slovene in a bikini.
Oh, God, yeah. But again, love it. Like, and I think it's even more rewarding when you know she's got her plan in the background as well. Like, because you think, oh, she's just going to try begging for her life. That's all she's doing. But no, she's actually totally in control.
Well, she tried to roofie the man, then tried to poison the man, and then tried to stab the man, and then tried to poison the man after.
Yeah, that bit is brilliant where she's like, poison dart from the finger, angry, evil breath.
Wow. Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It is good at it. But no, I mean, going back to Rose and Mickey, though, I mean, because, the Doctor and Blonde's conversation is pretty much the same conversation they have in the TARDIS. I mean, there was mixed signals galore, really.
Oh, mate, isn't it just? Isn't it just like, let's go and get a hotel room?
So Mickey, right, and I had to double check this. I had to watch it back. Mickey suggests that they go and get a hotel room.
Yeah.
Which we're all adults around here. We know what that means, right? She agrees. She goes, "Yeah, I want it." So I'm like, "Hey, happy days. That's what you want to hear." And then they make conversations about trying to find a pub or a restaurant or something like that. So you think, okay, things are back to normal. Rose then starts talking. It then cuts to the point where they're looking over the sea or something. And Rose starts telling them about everything that her and the Doctor have been up to and all these weird and wonderful planets. And then Mickey just out of the blue goes, "I'm dating someone else."
Yeah, like, it is so strange.
Why
isn't it?
did you suggest the hotel then? Like,
I mean, hats off to him for shooting his load, and then maybe his conscience just kicked in.
But the thing is, though, is he not that he should, not that he should have had to defend his new girlfriend from Rose's vicious personal assault. But he obviously kind of has feelings for this new girlfriend because he doesn't even bat an eyelid. He just defends her straight away, And
yeah, true.
I just, and he does have this monologue about, oh, you come back and I drop everything and I come over to Cardiff. But I mean, I don't know. It didn't match up. And I wonder if they took they made like multiple conversations, I guess. And that was the one they cut them together and then went,
okay, maybe.
That's the final. Because again, going back to Star Wars, if you watch A New Hope, the first conversation between Luke and Obi-Wan, when they're in the hut and he shows him that, kind of Anakin's lightsaber and everything like that, that's very disjointed. And the reason that's disjointed is because they actually cut the scene up and chopped it around and everything because I think it was something to do with the planet around the
Oh,
border
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
like
I
that.
have heard this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course that's why it's a bit disjointed and there's a few awkward sides. I kind of when I was watching that, I just got that feeling that maybe there were multiple scripts that they had and they decided that that one was the best way to do it. And I just don't know. It just was very, very disjointed, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw it again. It works for me. Like I think, yeah, he's confused. He's upset. He's sad. He's dating this girl because he has to. He has to try and move his life along. And I think he just snaps. And I think it's fair enough, to be honest. Like you said, he gets a beating all episode. Of course, he's
Yeah.
going to spill over. And they are kids at the end of the day as well. We can't forget that. He's come all the way down from Cardiff. He's probably spent all his wages. I would be pissed off. I'd probably snap.
I guess, but then I don't know. Like if you're, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's not really going to be
Yeah,
something that
yeah.
we ever actually experienced. That someone literally disappears off the face of the earth and then comes back and is like, oh yeah, it's all good. You know, it's just very, I don't know, it's very weird, very weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I mean, as I said, I did feel sorry for Mickey, and I did understand where Mickey was coming from, and the whole thing that he's just like, you just disappear. Like, you know, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'm happy to wait for you, but I don't want to wait for you because I don't know if you're coming. And I do get that, it's there. But as I said, I just don't agree with the last bit of Mickey. I just feel like they just overcooked it that little bit. They went from having a steak medium rare to making it, well, they did just the pan flashed and they just burnt the steak, and it was just like that last bit. Just it could have been, but yeah, I don't know. It was a very, very interesting conversation to hear between Rose and Mickey.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think
Which
I think as well, once it's contextualized in a couple of weeks as well, maybe it'll
hmm,
make a bit more sense to you.
I mean, that is true. That is true. I'm only kind of seeing, you know, initial
Yeah,
thoughts and
in
everything,
live
but
action. Yeah,
everything's
yeah,
well, this is it. Everything, you know, to the characters, everything is still raw. You know, this is the first time Mickey's seen Rose for what I'm assuming. I think he says is a year or something.
6 months, I think it says at the
Six
start of the
months.
episode.
Yeah.
6 months
Oh,
from
sorry. Yeah. A
World War.
year is a year was the
The gap
aliens in
between.
London.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But
so
yeah.
then thunder and lightning, very, very
Mm-hmm.
frightening. Rose does a runner. And then there's a
Honestly,
bit
that was a bit
where,
of poetry in motion there.
thank you. I
Thunder and
was
lightning,
wondering
very, very
how long I
frightening.
was
Rose
going to
does a
carry
runner.
that on for. I couldn't think of anything that rhymes with runner. Um, so then Margaret and the doctor, they run away from their dinner back to the TARDIS. They take the handcuffs off. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never picked up on this, but I had to rewind it about 3 times and put subtitles on. An extra in the background as they're running down the stairs just shouts, "Some date this turned out to be." I was like, I caught me totally off guard. I was like, was that the doctor? I'm like, no, just some random extra just in the background. Like, never
I didn't
noticed
hear
it
that.
before. Yeah, mate, go back and watch it. It really like just caught me off guard. Yeah, just some absolute nutter goes, "Some date this turned out to be." I want to know the context of that. What has happened there?
This is it. This is the Doctor Who spin-off. That one couple from 2005's episode of Boomtown. You know.
Well, I just can't picture why you'd say that. Like, must be a first date. He's finally shot his shot and he's there and he's like, yeah, this is going very well. But like to then be running off on your own and say, some date this turned out. Like, what do you mean, mate? This isn't the date's problem. Was it going bad before that point or what?
Maybe he met her in the 2004 like kind of tsunami that happened. That was their first date, and they were like, right, okay, let's go for a second date in 2005. And they just went for it.
Yeah, let's only go on dates when there's a natural disaster.
But yeah, so
Anyway,
anyway, so that was that. So yeah, so moving back. So yeah, so it just but I don't know that. I mean, maybe that was something that he was scripted to say. Maybe it's like he wasn't scripted to say. You just don't know, do you? Because the thing is with extras, these extras are just told to kind of give a general reaction, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. Oh,
That's why
no,
you
I
always
read something in the notes here because it was getting quite famous at this point that the revival was coming back. They had to film it in the middle of the night when
yeah
there's nobody around. And then they
yeah
kept the camera shots in the same place, recorded it with the extras. And then, like you were saying about the other one, they spliced the two scenes together. So the Doctor and
yeah
Margaret and Rose and Mickey, they're running around and there's no one around them. And the extras are edited in afterwards. I thought that was quite
yeah
interesting. So nothing
no,
facts,
it's
but I
clever.
found it quite interesting.
No, it's clever. I like that kind of stuff. I think it's cool.
So shit
And
hits
it's
the
just
fan.
easier.
The
Yeah.
Kraken then starts. I think, by the way, they like that's some pretty good CGI. That Kraken floor as Rose is running down. That looks pretty good for
Yeah,
2005.
no, I was going to say, yeah, no, the floor itself, I'm not sure about the rift. The
Well,
rift
my
looks a bit.
question for you is this the first ever example of a sky beam?
I'm trying to go back to the Unquiet Dead. Did we see a sky beam there in the house?
No, not a sky beam. But I mean just in like in movies and stuff. Because obviously Avengers did it, Suicide Squad did it, and it became like a repetitive trope. But this might be like the first ever use of a sky beam.
I don't know, actually. That's a good point.
Like if you go on Letterboxd, that you can search by movies, just movies that have Skybeam. And it's
Yeah.
like a whole subcategory of films now because it's become such cliche. I reckon this could be the first one. Doctor Who started it off again.
I don't know. There's got to be something before.
I don't know.
I want
Mate.
to.
I'm
want to
on a
even say
page now.
so.
So we've got Amazing Spider-Man, Atlantis, Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Big Hero 6. Apparently the first Avenger has one. Chronicles of Narnia, Chronicles of Riddick, Dark City, Dark Tower. We could go on for ages, but I think this might be before it all.
I don't know. That's going to be something to look up, isn't it? That is going to be something to look up.
Let's put it out to our
interesting.
listeners again. Is this the earliest form of the Skybeam? Is this the first use of it?
Name us another Skybeam that happened before 2005. There you go.
Yeah, in a popular movie, do it.
Yeah. Talking of kind of things that we're trying to work out that kind of aren't, and in fact, I may have just answered my own question.
Go on.
Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Because I then put, well, two things. One, she says surfs up, which I didn't think was very alien, but hey, look, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The second thing is, of course, then the TARDIS kind of rips apart and you see the glowing light. And I thought they were going to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I thought they were going to. I just
melt her
face. The Covenant. I genuinely thought they were going to do it. I was waiting for it. I was like, oh,
I mean, it wouldn't
like,
surprise me. Yeah. With
like,
how the series has gone.
But that now makes me think. I'm now trying to think back on that scene. Was there a skybeam that come up from the Ark and the spirits went around the skybeam? I didn't know.
Oh, potentially. Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah.
I don't know though. It's still right us in though. Just see if we can find anything that's earlier than that. And and if
exactly.
If Raiders of the Lost Ark was actually a thing, but well, not a thing, but if that was actually a skybeam, that's I just hallucinated Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is it an actual real film?
So they're all back in the TARDIS. Margaret rips her arm off and grabs Rose by the throat. When all I could think of when I was watching it, and I've not even seen this show, but was Secret Invasion, when she gets her little Drax arm.
Oh, damn.
That's all I could think of, but this looks better than that.
Actually, it looks better than that. In 2005, the kind of blonde arm actually looked better than Gear's Drax arm or whatever.
Just another thing that Doctor Who has pioneered.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. That was that was done a lot better.
So the heart of the TARDIS. Oh, go on.
I was going to move on to the same thing. Actually, go on far away.
Yeah, so the heart of the TARDIS gets ripped open. The TARDIS gets confirmed as a living thing. It gets you on a subconscious level. That's how it translates things, even though it didn't translate the Blydrug thing from earlier, but we'll breeze over that. What did you think of the resolution to this episode?
Well, first of all, I've got to say what an excellent ending that was.
Okay.
It was the only pun I could think of that had the word egg.
Oh, right, excellent. Right, got you. I thought you were just genuinely being nice about the ending of this episode. Right,
It was a weird. Why did she turn into an egg again? Why did the TARDIS have? Well, no, actually, no. I know why the TARDIS, because she says about she wanted to start all over and she wanted to live on a new planet where she didn't have the death sentence. So I guess that they turned her back into an egg and.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. Yeah, the TARDIS sort of read her genuine, deepest desire.
Yeah, that was her genuine kind of. Yeah, no, agreed. It's kind of like going to the kind of the wishing well, and it's the thing you most desire.
Yeah,
She desired a fresh start, and the fresh start was to be born again. That was it. She gets a new family. She forgets about all the past. She gets a chance to live on her own planet again. So I get that. It was a bit weird that they just turned her into an egg.
It's a bit of a MacGuffin. Apparently, that's the same egg as in End of the World as well. It's a reused prop. Okay, so that's interesting. Just trying to save costs again. Heart of the TARDIS. Listen, it's a MacGuffin. It's a hand waving thing. It makes sense. I don't think they should have used it in this episode. I think they should have used it in the first half of the season because it may or may not come back up again. And I think if they'd have laid the. I know that the reason they put it in here is obviously because it has a payoff in a later episode. I think it would have been more rewarding if it would have happened earlier in the season. Is my only comments on that.
Makes sense. No, that makes sense. So that was so she turns into an egg, and then that's it. It's all
an egg.
Forgotten about. The rift is apparently closed up. I mean, the thing I like though is they kept the when Rose runs back to go and find Mickey. They actually kept the kind of scars of the cracks of the earth on there. So it's kind of like proof that things didn't just go back to normal. I mean, is it going to be something that people still talk about, or I just don't know because there's like medics there, and Rose is going around. She's asking the medics like, have you seen Mickey? I mean, why none of those guys would actually know Mickey's name? I don't know, but
Yeah, well, going off on a bit of a tangent, one of my miscellaneous notes is so Jack is a time traveler, obviously, and he's got this Torchwood season coming up. So no real spoilers, but technically, from this, what happens in the Torchwood series, there are 3 Captain Jacks present in Cardiff at that time.
Oh my goodness.
I know,
That
mate.
sounds
That's
messy.
how much
That
they
sounds
fucked the
messy.
timeline up. Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of thing though that would draw me to that. I'd love to see how they ended up with 3 Captain Jacks in Cardiff at that time. I mean, that's what you want. You want, as I said,
You
for
want
Father's
3
Day, you want
Captain
some
Jacks.
big, messy time paradox that you just like. Yeah, that's it. Look at this. How are we
Yeah,
going to fix this? But
no, exactly. It's quite yeah, I just thought that was a funny note. But that pretty much wraps up the episode. We only have 2 minutes
yeah.
left of recording. Do you want to briefly love it or hate it, JP?
I've got to go love it again. I think I don't. It was just a middle episode for me, really. It
Oh yeah,
wasn't
fair enough.
bad, wasn't good, but I'd say I love it because it, as we discussed, it gives a
If you
nice bit of
don't hate
character
it, you love
development.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it gives
fair enough.
character.
And
What about you?
yeah, I love this episode. I think it's a genuinely really good episode. After a few that I find quite boring, I think this is a nice change of pace.
I'm guessing because I have seen the next week's episode clip thing.
Yeah.
Because there's a few things. It looks like a game show.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
just, no words apart from maybe they were let loose in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at some point, and they were all very drunk and went, I bet we can make an episode in a game show.
Well, mate, it's not just a game show. It's the weakest link, and it's Big Brother.
Yes, no, I saw the Big Brother because when they get eliminated, they actually get eliminated by the looks of things.
By the looks of things.
Yeah, so that just the only thing I could think of is maybe, as I said, the writers got drunk one night, accidentally went into the wrong studio and went, I've got an idea here. This just bear with me on this one. Bear with me. So and then of course there was loads of Daleks there and everything like that. So there's 2 things I'm thinking. One, the host of the game show or whatever the producer is nicknamed Bad Wolf, or maybe that's the company or something like that. Almost like going back to the long game with Max.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking maybe that could be Bad Wolf, or the company could be Bad Wolf, or the producer, something on that kind of, in the back room is Bad Wolf, or the Daleks have a ship called Bad Wolf.
Oh, okay.
Because they've got to turn up at somewhere, they've got to appear from somewhere. I'm guessing they're all on the same ship. I'm guessing that Bad Wolf is a call sign, or it's the name of the ship, or it's the name of a Captain Dalek, if that's a thing. I feel like that's going to be that's going to be something there in that episode.
Okay, fair enough, mate. No, good to hear your theories on that.
I can't wait to hear myself next week, and I'll go, what an idiot I've been.
Maybe not. Maybe you're bang on. I'm not inclined to say.
I've got to wait till Friday now. What's the day? It's Tuesday now. I've got to wait 3 more days until I watch it, and then I'll find out. But
excited for the finale?
Yes, I am, because the fact that the Daleks are all turning up as well.
Do you wish you hadn't seen them in the next time trailer?
Yes, I do actually, and next season I may stop watching the next time thing. I don't know. It just
yeah.
I
wish I'd have warned you not to watch it, but it totally slipped my mind. But yeah, it's 2 episodes left. We'll do it as one story, 1 episode for us. We'll do an extra bonus episode to give us a rundown on the series. But thank you for listening, everybody. We're going to do a quick wrap up this week. Thank you for your engagement on the social medias. Thank you for the fantasy football. Thank you for the TikToks, for the YouTubes, for the Instagrams. Engage with us, comment on us, and most importantly, leave us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast, because it's the only way we can beat the stupid algorithm, because we picked a stupid name.
Now, guys, just to echo what Josh has said, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for all the engagement. We really do appreciate it, and we will join you next week for the finale.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, JP. Adios, amigos.